What do you think this dialogue on gangs could result in? I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, they get together and they talk about all these things, but in real life, what kind of solutions will this dialogue lead to?
Well, first of all, I think you need to kind of see the rays of hope in this, in the sense that Baca and Bratton were here. That never would have happened at any other previous regime. Never. I've had 2 meetings with Bratton. You know, I was just at a meeting Monday with about 20 gang interventionists, and he just sat there and listened, and people talked. You can say that's whatever that is, but symbolic only. It sure meant something to the people in that room to have law enforcement for the first time sit down and listen, not talk, not lecture, but receive kind of the wealth of experience that was in that room. So I'm hopeful, actually, and this was, you know, a good thing. I thought, you know, you got good people, and not just on the stage, but certainly as you look out into the audience, it was just filled with people who work on the streets and who work with gang members, and this was a room filled with stakeholders, and that, I think that makes a difference. I was happy.
No, I was just saying, Gates' record, checkered past, a lot of criticism. Do you think that's impacting Bratton and Lee Baca sitting at the table?
Definitely. I mean, I know these two. I know Baca better than Bratton, but I really think that they have. I think they want to do the right thing. You know, I don't think it's cynical. You know, I know the number 2, Jim McDonald. He's brilliant. He's wise. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to turn this around such that law enforcement is in fact a noble profession. Well, that's going to take a long time coming. But I think they're genuine in wanting to do that. I don't think they're just responding to some kind of political pressure. I think he'd like his legacy to be, Bratton, that, you know, he turned this inside out. And I said, you know, go for it.
Now, I noticed that yourself, Connie Rice, and Tom Hayden were trying to make a point about gangs and gang members in terms of trying to address what they really are, and it didn't seem as if Chief Bratton was getting that point. Did you sense that in a sort of?
Well, I mean, I think he'll say stuff that's kind of unfortunate sometimes, and I've seen him change, however. I've seen him say things initially. I've seen him retract what he said initially. I've seen him say different things now. I think he came here, unfortunately, thinking he knew about this issue because he has a breadth of experience in law enforcement. The LA street gang scene is unlike anything that he has ever known. And so I think finally he's embraced some humility on this issue.
But he was still, I think he wasn't ready to sort of dismiss the notion of street gangs in LA, terrorists, Al-Qaeda, although he said he didn't say that.
Yeah.
But we know that he made a direct quote about making an analogy between what's going on here locally and what's going on internationally.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem to back up from that, at least when Tom Hayden was talking.
Yeah.
What do you think that means?
Well, I think he has a long way to go in terms of learning about what this is. You know, I was in a room full of cops at this meeting the other day, and they were all kind of fixating on this 8-year-old kid who was killed at 60th and Menlo, and 3 others were wounded. Talking to a group of people who collectively, I've buried 114 friends because of gang. So it was like, I didn't need to hear this lecture. I didn't need to hear this kind of, like, who did you think you were talking to? You know, it was trying to get us to sort of, it wasn't very helpful because I think what it did was just widen the gap between us and them. I'm appreciative that he wants to learn from folks, and so I'm going to remain hopeful as long as he keeps those doors open and wants. And I think he's a quick study, but you're correct. I think there's still that. It's hard. That's a hard thing to unearth and to crack, you know. But I'm confident that with enough conversation we will.
Chief Bratton has a checkered past himself in New York, and the city council voted 14-1 approving him. Were you surprised that he was selected chief of police rather than a couple of other local people? Or what was your reaction to when he was actually selected, and if you knew of his past in New York?
Yeah, somewhat. You know, Tom Hayden has filled me in on a lot of that stuff. He wasn't my choice, you know, but when he picked Jim McDonald, who actually was, I thought, well, you know, again, he picked really smart, good people. and surrounded himself with them. And, you know, again, I think demonization goes two ways, you know. It's completely wholesale wrong for people to demonize gang members because it's not the truth. It's equally wrong for the community to demonize police because it's also not the truth.
Do we need to continue these dialogues on, and if so, how consistently? Once a month, once every 6 months? Or should this be something that we're constantly tracking almost on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the more you talk with stakeholders, the better we're all going to be. In the past, I mean, you have to understand that that there wasn't any room for this in the past. There wasn't any room for this kind of dialogue with law enforcement, you know, which again leads me to be hugely hopeful that we can actually shape the future of law enforcement and shape how the city deals with this issue.
So you're optimistic for 2003?
I never say I'm optimistic. I always say I'm hopeful, but I may even be optimistic, actually.
Well, there you have it. Father Greg Boyle, representing, as always,